You guys, the 3-pointers tonight, there were 9 in the first half, which is like a franchise record. Just was that something that you were just, open tonight, or once you got started, it just kind of got contagious? Or can you talk about the threes tonight? Becky, you were 5 for 6.
Oh, thank you. I just think it was the way that we were moving the ball and just finding the open shot and taking the shots. I think that's a big thing we've been saying, is when you open shoot it, let it fly. And so we really just tried to make the most of whatever their rotations were and finding that open player.
Going to take one from Zoom. Alexa, go ahead.
Hi, guys. I'm just curious, either from your own perspectives or anything that the coaching staff said, did you feel like that was maybe one of your most complete performances of the season, just in terms of how the defense fueled everything, balanced offense and all that?
I do. I think we harped on focusing on our defense to create offense, having everything come together by this time in playoffs. So I think this is one of our best complete games, and it kind of showed, honestly.
And how much confidence does that give you all, just being able to come out with that kind of game to start the playoffs and hopefully peaking at the right time?
I mean, it's an awesome way to start, and it's now just to let this one go and do it again. So that's the biggest thing, is they were sort of saying in the room, have a short-term memory. Great job on getting this win and winning the way that we did, but let's do it again.
Thank you.
Ty, for you, your just 3-point efficiency overall this season has dramatically risen over your career. Kind of just, you speak to that, what's been really working for you this season, and especially tonight?
Honestly, when I tell you we shoot those shots every day 100 times, I mean, it's just consistency, hard work, and just letting it play off. They tell me all the time, let it fly. When it's going up, it's going down. So when I get the ball, I just shoot it and hopefully it goes in.
And I know it's just one game, but just from your perspective, Ty, kind of like, what does this moment as a whole mean to you, and just in perspective in coming to Connecticut this season?
It means everything to me. I mean, I'm blessed and grateful to be here. It's a great atmosphere, great team, great group of women. I'm a youngin', so they keep me under the wing, and they teach me a lot, and I love just to be here and trying to get back to that finals and win.
You guys had 28 assists tonight, just did a really great job of sharing the ball with each other. Can you just speak to how fluid you guys were offensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really great when you look at the score sheet and you see so many people in double figures, and that goes credit to the way that we moved the ball and we found the right shots, and it really helps with the offense. It opens things up, but I mean, a lot of it really does, and I know it's a cliche, it comes from the defense, but we were being really aggressive, and that helped get us those, open looks.
Becky, Steph always says that like the personality of this team is like the grit, kind of the veterans and just the grit of the team. Is that the personality that you take on defense? Like tonight, you scored 30 points off turnovers tonight. Is that just like the resilience and the grit of the team?
It's definitely a grit, and it also is the physicality. I think that's a big thing too, and a lot of it stems with AT and DB being those sort of physical presence, especially AT, and that forces us to get up, but also our defensive schemes are aggressive, and I think that plays into our hands and our identity of who we want to be. So yeah, physicality, being that gritty team, and never stopping, never giving up.
It looked almost like you were having fun playing defense.
I try to. Playing defense? Oh, no. No, I mean, it's really nice when the ball is moving like that, and defensively as well, when you all feel so connected, it does make it a really enjoyable game.
This is Ralph Frequent, nothing but that sports talk. I got a question for Beck Allen. Like, the way this team was able to come together, both on the shooting side of the ball, like, how has that built your confidence going to a possible closeout game 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge confidence boost. It's nice to see the ball go through the net for a number of us, so then we can just build that confidence into the next game. But sort of like I said before, in playoffs basketball, it's always a new game, so you need to come ready, and they're going to make some changes. We're going to do what we're going to do, and so we just need to be ready and make sure that we stay true to who we are.
Appreciate the insight. Good luck.
Thank you. Going to do a quick statement and then taking questions.
Really proud of our group. I felt like we came out, especially on the defensive end of the floor, and we were just aggressive, and we executed, and we had a high level of intensity and activity. And that carried over offensively. You know, Tip started the game with that banked in three and shot it really well after that too. You know, it's just a big win for us. We certainly understand that the job is not done, but it's a good start.
Taking questions?
You said before the game that you didn't think that you guys had played your best consistent basketball, but tonight, like you said, had a really strong start. Do you think that this is a step in the right direction as far as that goes?
Absolutely. I think it's as close as we've been all season to 40 consistent minutes. You know, we had a little bit of a lull in the third where they got going and we got a little soft defensively, but we answered it and we picked it back up. And, you know, the other piece is we got contributions from everyone. And that's how it's going to have to be for us to continue to be successful. Love the way we shared the basketball offensively, but just really incredibly proud of our defensive effort and execution.
Ty had a really big game, and so did a couple other people off the bench. Just how did you feel like that helped give you guys a lift?
It's huge. I mean, contributions from the bench, being able to come in and, you know, really run the team and is what Ty did and knock down shots. I mean, she shot the ball well all year long. We want to make sure that we're continuing to find her. I thought Nay did a really good job and is continuing to work back, you know, from her injury. You know, Liv's minutes were a little more limited tonight just because of matchups and how they play. But she still was very impactful. And again, that's what it's going to take, you know. And I thought DB's effort on the glass was just outstanding. I mean, we really needed it. AT had her hands full defending Fee, and we needed somebody else to come in there and snag those rebounds. And I thought DB was just special on the boards.
Coach, you had a 21-3 run in the second quarter there that kind of gave you control of the game. Was there something that you figured out on offense, or was it just 3-point shooting?
I think 3-point shooting, I don't remember, I have the numbers, we were something like 5 for 6 or something from the 3-point line. 3-point shooting, I felt like our defense gave us energy. We moved the ball really well, 28 assists on 33 made field goals. I mean, that's just terrific. I just felt like we made the right plays. We made the right reads. We didn't try to do it ourselves. We didn't over penetrate. We didn't overanalyze, you know, and I don't know how, we keep scoring screens. I don't know how many we had total, but I know in that first half, we had 6 scoring screens, and I think Beck Allen had 3 of them. So just a good job of finding our open teammates and then knocking down shots.
Steph, can you talk more about the defense? You scored 30 points off their turnovers, and you always talk about how gritty the team is. Like, that was a gritty defensive performance.
Yeah, it really was. You know, I think that we, you know, our activity level first and foremost. And we got a lot of deflections that led to steals. You know, when we've got high hands and we've got active hands, and we're pressuring the basketball, when we're at the point of the actions and are proactive and not reactive. It allows us to get those turnovers for scores, and that's a big part of what we do, and it's a big part of how we're able to get ourselves going offensively. So I thought from top to bottom and from start to finish, we were really good in that area.
When I asked you about Ty, you said she shot the ball well all year, and it looked like you knocked on wood. Is that what you did?
I did. Yes,
Are you
I did.
superstitious when it comes to that stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, and then you guys really held them off on the 3-point line. What was the kind of the plan there? It seemed like you let, you know, certain people shoot and then really rushed out on others. What was the game plan?
Well, look, when you're playing a great team and a well-balanced team and a well-coached team, you've got to try to play percentages. You know, we knew that we had to force them into contested threes. We couldn't give them wide open ones. Of course, you know, you got to be on McBride, you got to be on Fee. Anybody can get hot at any moment, but the priority is to contain the ball first. And then when we have to be in rotation to make them think about it and get there and get a hand up and contest. I mean, they're all pros. They can knock down shots. We just wanted to make it as difficult as possible when they were taking those shots.
2 more questions. Jacqueline and then Alexa on Zoom, and we're going to close it out. Thanks.
Hey, Steph, just going back to the defense, you know, just closing games after building some big leads has been a point over the last month or so. Just kind of what worked differently tonight and was, you know, kind of allowed you guys to keep your foot on the gas there as opposed to, you know, some other games.
They were just locked in. I mean, it's do or die time. You know, it's do or die time. We got to treat every day like, you know, this is win the day. You know, we can't think about tomorrow. We can't think about yesterday. It's just this day. And they were locked in. They were talking about staying locked in our huddles, in our timeouts. our activity, our sense of urgency was there. And, it's always about how can we continue to be better? How can we continue to raise the standard of excellence? And I just thought our team as a whole did a really good job of staying locked in.
Alexa?
Hi, Stephanie. When we talk about Dewana, she mentioned, I think, on the broadcast that sometimes rebounding really gets her going. So is that something that you've talked with her about, or maybe she just knows being a vet for so long? But also when it comes to her having 6 assists, and she was the one tonight in triple-double territory, kind of what stood out in that aspect of the game when she was facilitating?
I feel like she's been good on the boards over our last few games. She'll come in there and she'll get up and snatch some rebounds, and it's just like, again, I keep telling her she's found the fountain of youth. She just has a really good knack and understanding, and now that she's playing the 4 for us, she's around the rim a little bit more. She can use her long arms and go up and get it. She's got really good timing. Her decision making offensively was really good. Those 6 assists, we were at a timeout, and I looked at the stat sheet and I said the same thing. It's like, okay, DB's getting close to that triple double. I just felt like overall our entire team, we were patient, we were poised, we took what the defense gave us. We didn't try to do it individually, and so we found our open teammates, and yeah, DB was special, and she's continued to be special for us all year long.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
And then head to the Zoom. Who would like to start us off?
Coach, you faced a very aggressive defense tonight. Can you just speak to how you felt that Connecticut played against you guys defensively?
Well, it seems like we were surprised by Connecticut's aggression for some reason. We didn't see anything that we didn't think we were going to see. We just didn't handle it. We just turned it over like crazy. So awfully disappointing.
After a game like that, do you kind of talk things over with your players, or do you let the veterans talk in the locker room? How's that go?
Everything. It's a collective with this group. We've had hard times before. We've gotten smacked before. We were 0-6. This team always gets up. We're not going to not get up. And we have to figure out some things. We got to figure out, again, most of what we saw was not a surprise to us. For some reason, our execution was really at both ends, just not where it needs to be to win a playoff game, especially against these guys.
Any more questions in the room?
What are you hoping that the team is able to accomplish or put together over the next few days before the second game of the series on Sunday?
Obviously they'll spend some time. We'll watch the game. Kind of sucks having 3 days before you play again. We have to feel it for 3 days, and players don't want to spend 2 days practicing of those 3 days, right? So the schedule really stinks. Playoff schedule stinks. I think in terms of maybe studying the video, have some points that in terms of our offense and our defense that we've already talked about, how we can each do better, whether it's getting people off the 3-point line, whether it's how you handle pick and roll, the toughness that you play with. Those are all that are controllable, and that's certainly what's going to be the focal point. And try to get them some actions that they can be successful at. It wasn't all bad, certainly, but too many wide open threes.
We'll head over to the Zoom. Start with Kent, head to Rafike, then Jack and Alexa.
They came out shooting threes right from the get-go.
The bank three. Hayes started the game with a bank three. Yep.
Yeah. And this is a team that didn't particularly shoot a lot of threes. Were you surprised at that, or was it just a matter of they were hitting them and they were getting them, and you weren't closing out enough, and they just kept shooting them?
Well, I think once the team, kind of, really started, yeah, they don't shoot a lot from there, but once they started doing that, there were a couple hard ones that we kind of go, we're going to live with those. There were ones that we were standing right in front of somebody 6 feet off of them and kind of dared them to shoot. Good shooters that you just can't do. Personnel tendencies, that was sort of lacking for us, but they threw a bunch in. I mean, Kent, you weren't in arena, but even the putt went in.
Yeah, they showed that on TV.
So,
but I mean, but it really starts with the turnovers, right? I mean,
oh, there's no question. I mean, that was awful, just awful. I mean, 30 points off turnovers was not, that's like, we understand that what Connecticut is capable of doing. Give them credit for how they come out and how aggressive they were. And for some reason, we were surprised by that. And, we've just got to be more ready for it. And we've got to be able to answer physically. There was no question in our minds that you got to be physically and mentally tough when you play in the playoffs, and then certainly when you play the Connecticut Sun.
It looked like the two rookies, it was kind of an education for them tonight on just the level of intensity this game gets played at in the playoffs. Do you expect them to kind of maybe make a bigger jump from game 1 to 2 now that they've been through it?
I do. It's been one of the things that we really focused on is letting those players experience these moments. There's a growth mindset for our team. We stated that when we started the season, and putting these guys in these situations in playoff games incredibly valuable. And we'll see what they can do from game 1 to game 2. But it's well beyond those two. That's going to be necessary for us to be successful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Kent.
Rafike? We can't hear you.
Rafike, are you muted?
Now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Okay. There you go, Rafike. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Nafisa Collier and Caleb McBride did everything they could offensively, but not enough offense for the rest of the team. Like, what are some of their takeaways from the overall team performance in tonight's loss?
We need better play from our star players. K-Mac had a great first half, and then she wasn't getting much help. And so Collier's got to play much better. She will. I mean, this is probably one of the locker room is really disappointed, but probably the one most disappointed would be Fee in terms of her own play. She will bounce back. She will be better. And then when she's better, then it's a little bit easier for K-Mac, a little bit easier for the others. We got to get some stuff out of Mitchell. We got to get stuff out of Carlton. Bantam was solid for us. So we just got to get a little more from everybody else. They did. Their bench at halftime had 17 points off the bench. And they, we didn't get as much. So we need help from everywhere, but our star players have to, play better, and they know that.
Yeah, and Damian Miller's first WNBA playoff game of her career. Like, what do you talk to her about as far as getting used to playing under the playoff atmosphere?
Who is this?
Damian Miller.
Diamond Miller?
Diamond Miller, yeah.
Yeah, Diamond. Diamond and Dorka, I mean, I don't think the atmosphere was anything they weren't, sort of used to. They both have played at a high level, and we've been in arenas. I think it's more just the, I don't necessarily think that, Connecticut did anything they didn't do in the regular season. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe the idea that it was a playoff game. I don't know. I can't speak to, why we just looked like we weren't ready to go to another gear. Do we have another gear? We're going to have to find that out about ourselves, because that's what's necessary. That's what we talk about a lot. That's what we talked about with Diamonds. We talked about Dorka. Really as a team, this team hasn't experienced this together. So that was a lot of learning going on in that game that we're going to have to try to, we have to have some solves and be much better in the next 40 minutes. That's a great thing about this. I mean, I know it's cliche. It's it's our minds. It's a 120-minute series, and for 40 minutes didn't go very well. We've watched a lot of NBA games, WNBA games, where somebody gets smacked by 30, and then the next game that they play, the same team that just won by 30 loses by 30. That can happen. That can happen to anybody, right? So the highs are high in a playoff series, and the lows are low, and so we're low, and obviously Connecticut is high. And so that's the beauty of a series, is the ups and the downs, and just even throughout the game. And so we're on to the next 40 minutes. That's our mindset, and we'll see if we can be better.
Appreciate the insight. Good luck in game 2.
Thank you.
Head to Jack, then Alexa.
Hey, Cheryl, it seemed like there was a lot of, catching the ball and then waiting for 2 or 3 or 4 seconds before players made a decision whether they wanted to dribble or pass. How do you go about trying to, improve that area of the game on offense?
I think that's confidence. I think they were, we kind of hung in there. K-Mac lit a little bit, kind of got us settled, right? At the beginning of the game, I fully expected it was going to be as it was. We weathered that storm, kind of got back in it, took the lead. And then we just had a stretch there where, I think we just started turning it over. Just try to dribble places, and AT sticks her hand in there and steals it, hedge us, jump out on us on screens, whatever. And we kept putting ourselves in that situation, which just didn't make a lot of sense. And I think then it became, we were unsure of what we wanted to do. That's what it looked like to me. There wasn't a whole lot of conviction in those stretches. I thought in the, when we got down, we were down 20 and we kept trying to battle back. It was 15 and we had the ball, and we ended up turning it over. But we had chances where I thought we were starting to get a little more rhythm to what we were doing. And that's the thing about a series, or about the course of a game. You collect knowledge about things that you can maybe use in the next game. And so there were some good things that happened that we'll try to focus and bring out a little bit more. But ultimately, we've got to be confident in what we're doing. And like I said, we need more. The players that didn't necessarily bring it today, I know that they're disappointed, and we're just all going to work really hard and try to bring it on Sunday.
Thank you. Good luck in game 2.
Thanks, Jack.
Alexa.
Hi, Cheryl. You've talked about how disappointed Fee was in herself. What, in your perspective, was what she had trouble with most today? Was it just how the Sun were defending her, or something else that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's not anything she hasn't seen. I mean, just the last couple of games, really, just the focus that is on her. How to navigate when she's in the paint. I also think that she's got to be able to score all 3 levels, and right now she's only focused on 1. So we're going to help her, identify ways to get easier offense, and not so much pressure on her only scoring, in the RA. So she'll be better, and again, Fee's never awful. She's always at least pretty darn solid, and she fought and battled her way. But it's a player that wants to play better for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any final questions?
Cheryl, you mentioned the Sun bench earlier. Could you just speak to the impact that they were able to have for the Sun, particularly Ty Harris?
Yeah, Ty Harris was big. She was big the last time we played them. We let her hit a couple threes. Despite knowing that's something she's really good at. She hit a tough one in front of our bench that you go, okay, if you make them take those threes and they make them, maybe it's their night. But it's the open ones that we stop short. The short closeout on shooters is just one of those things that's really frustrating for our scout coaches in particular. when the amount of work that we spend in sharing things, and we let her get going. And so she was highly effective for them, had a nice game.
Thank you.
Start off with questions in the room.
Nafisa, Cheryl was saying that, you were one of the players who was probably most upset in the locker room. After a game like that, how do you guys kind of rally around each other for the next one?
I mean, it's disappointing. That's obviously not the outcome that we wanted. So I think she was talking to, like, we really have to look inward and see what we did individually that went wrong, and fix it for the next game. That's the beauty about a series, is that we get another crack at it. I think a lot of us feel that we wish we could do it tonight, even because we're just, we're excited to get out there and prove that that's not the team that we are now. We can do better than that. So yeah, I mean, it's really disappointing. I'm disappointed in myself. Obviously not how I wanted to come out for our first playoff game. So just have to learn from it and, do better next game.
It seems like the Connecticut style of defense just didn't let up tonight at all and stayed aggressive throughout the entire game, which is hard to do for 40 minutes. Can you speak to their defensive efforts tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just had another gear. After that first quarter, I thought we hung tough, but then they came out, they just had another gear, and that's what experienced teams do. This team was in the finals last year, so, and we know that. So, and like she said, it's a series, so we know what to expect. And I don't want Fee to ever think that we don't believe in her, or that she, prove that she's gonna come out and do what she's been doing all season long for us. So we're just gonna continue, take these 2 days, look at film, whatever. But that's why this is a series. You know what I'm saying? So we know that they have another gear, and now it's our turn to show what gear we have for the next game.
Hi, for either of you, Connecticut had 16 made three-pointers tonight. Cheryl mentioned she thought there might have been too many wide open threes. Just from either of your perspective, kind of what did you see on that end?
I think we kind of lit a fire in the beginning. They average 7 threes a game, and they had 9 in the first half, so it's really tough. Once that gets going, it gives a team confidence. And like she said, they were kind of just shooting over us. It wasn't even from our schemed defense. So that's just something, execution-wise and being locked in, that we have to fix for next game, and something we should have done this game. I mean, when we see a problem, we have to adjust. So definitely that was one of the areas that they hurt us, obviously.
And Nafisa, just what was it like going up against Dawana? She had a really well-rounded game. Kind of, what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, she's a good player. She's really long. So credit to her. She did well.
We'll head to the Zoom, start with Jack.
For either one of you, it seemed like when players were catching the ball, there was a lot of holding it for 2 or 3 or 4 seconds before making a decision with what to do with the ball. Like, how do you guys go about trying to improve upon how quickly the collective is able to make decisions with the ball in your hands in game 2?
Just getting more aggressive. They were really aggressive in the pick and roll. We knew that coming in. So when it does get swung, like just attacking and not holding the ball, that's huge against Connecticut. We know how good they are with their pressure and AT DB jumping out on screens and things like that. So we have to get more downhill, and that's just one adjustment that we have to make for next game.
And then Fee, for you found something a little bit offensively there in the third quarter. And with the nature of it being a series, this is a situation where you probably go and look at the film there in the third quarter to see what you maybe can bring for 4 quarters on the next game.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching film to see what I can do better. Like I said, I was obviously disappointed in what I brought. So you have to make an adjustment. You have to see where you can maybe get some easy baskets because the ones I usually make weren't falling, how I can help the team in other ways. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking at that to see what I can do better.
Thank you both. Good luck in game 2.
And we'll go to Kent.
Yeah, Coach talked about it being really important that you focus on not just one level, and when it comes to scoring, that maybe you need to get out of the RA a little bit. Is that something that she talked to you about, or what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, she said, my fade's not working, so to try something else. So be more aggressive against AT, kind of use her aggression against her, try to get into her body, up and under, things like that. So something else I'll be looking at in the film.
For either one of you two, I mean, when you look at the score sheet, does it all come down? I mean, the most important thing is those turnovers and what happened as a result.
Yeah, I mean, they scored 30 points off our turnovers, and what is that, 48 points from 3-point line? That's 78 out of the 90 points. So yeah, I mean, obviously, we got to take better care of the ball, but I think we just have to get more aggressive in getting downhill. I mean, I took 9 out of my 14 shots were threes. I think I can get more to the rim, open things up for Fee. But it's gonna be a collective effort. That's what it's been all season long. Is everybody chipping in, everybody doing their thing. So we gotta leave it all out there on Sunday.
We got another chance, yeah.
Another chance, yeah.
Thank you.
Go to Jack again.
For all the things you guys have done this season, you guys have done a really good job of turning it around after, 4 losses. Just what do you think it is about the makeup of your team that, really allows you to just kind of get up every single time you get knocked down and find a way to, not let one bad loss turn into a second one?
I think the fact that we don't assign blame on specific people, we really do look at ourselves and see what we can do ourselves. And because of that, we've grown so close as a team. We have really great team chemistry. We want to do better for each other. It's not about me, it's about the collective. So I think that's what allowed us to turn our season around. And I think that's what's going to allow us to play better on Sundays, because we're going to look at what we did. We're going to see how we can make the team better, and then we're going to execute that.
Final question coming from Rafike.
This is Rafike, nothing but that sports talk. Obviously, I spoke to Coach earlier today, and she talked about how there was not enough team offense. And what do you guys talk about as far as preparing better for game 2?
Just being more intentional about what we're doing on offense. I think Connecticut sped us up a little bit. They were very aggressive. And like I said, everybody just has to get more aggressive in the pick and roll when we get the ball out, not holding it 1, 2, 3 seconds, but either swinging it or attacking right off of that. And that's where we were really, really good. And then also playing off of our stops. I didn't think we got enough stops, 3 in a row stops, and playing out in transition. I think that's where we've been our best over the last couple games. So getting back to that and just leaving it all out there. I think we were a little bit hesitant in some areas, and I just really want us to get more aggressive and leave it all out there.
Thank you, guys.